Everybody, welcome back to The Hole in the World, an actual play of the Invisible Sun RPG by Monty Cook Games. I am, as always, your dear GM, Zach, otherwise known as Great Zamino. I use he, him pronouns, and once again, I am back with my favorite cast. Starting with a few introductions, let's go ahead and begin with Marcy, if you'd introduce yourself for everybody.
Hey everyone, it's still me. I'm Marcy, aka Experimental Madness, and that is the username. You can find me most places around the internet, except for Twitter, where I'm determined to remain the resident cryptid. But again, in theory, you can find me there under the name Marsful. Whether or not I ever see anything that happens, who knows? And I'm back once again after a brief week off. I am back playing Gabrielle Kazan, the iconoclastic ardent apostate who hosts a choir.
Excellent. And moving down the line on the overlay, Bill, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, everybody. I'm Bill. I am playing Maurice Webb, the stalwart empath of the Order of Weavers who turns tales into reality. You can find me on Discord. I am at Ghostbike over there. So say hi.
Fantastic. Moving over to the other side, Hopper, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
What's up? Still me, still a Hopper. Sorry about that. I forget what the crap elves we do, but I'm very tired. I've had like 4 hours of sleep. But I use they them pronouns, and I'm a professional arborist and professional GM based out of Brooklyn, New York. And tonight I will be playing Twigg, the mendicant gallant apostate who heralds beginnings.
Well done. Fantastic.
I'm proud of myself.
And finally, guys, Marissa's not with us this week. She has some fun things that she's doing IRL, I think, that are wedding related. So that is going to leave us with 3 out of our normal 4. However, I think that there's some fun stuff we're going to get up to. Let's see how it goes. Let me, before we do that, start putting on a familiar tune. Now, guys, some of my audio settings seems to have changed while I was doing stuff, so let me know if you cannot hear the music. When last we left our vislae, Gabrielle had just stepped into the Valise to investigate and debug the liminal space of all Vespertine magics and enchantments. Following her departure, the vislae left each other's company to accomplish a few personal goals in the city on the hill. Kyrrie investigated what was it? I think Kyrrie visited Queen Fergalva and offered to find the soul of the monarch's long-dead consort. Explaining that his soul resided in the night side of the pale sun, Fergalva promised that she would consider Kyrrie a friend if she managed to find the consort's essence and return him from the land of the dead. Meanwhile, Twigg and Maurice met with Varuna Shikare, the vaunted maker formerly known as the Sterling, in his workshop and atelier. After witnessing Shikare's critique session with his student makers, they quickly met with him to discuss additional commissions. With preternatural senses of observation, Shikare deduced that the 2 vislae were missing parts of their memories and that Twigg would die inside of a year if their missing heart was not recovered from where they had hidden it. Accepting a commission for an artificial heart that could extend Twigg's life, the Sterling revealed that the maker could approximate and reconstruct the stolen memories from the hole that had been left inside of each vislae's mind. Departing to discuss these unsettling revelations, the vislae left to meet again with Kyrrie, who was busy contemplating her collection of souls and curses in the palace of Queen Fergalva. As all 3 contemplated the significance of Sterling's offer, Gabrielle interrupted to reveal that she had found a small library inside of the extra-dimensional space of the Valise. Moving quickly to discover its import, Kyrrie left Gabrielle, Maurice, and Twigg with many questions to answer as they prepared to begin the next day of downtime in the Silver Sun. Excellent. So, with all of this understood, allow me to change the music, guys. So, where we pick up, you guys have found yourselves, post your meeting with the Sterling, post Kyrrie's departure, once again in the quarters of the City on the Hill Palace of Queen Fergeleva in the diplomats' quarters, discussing your next steps. Now, for everybody who is kind of been following along but needs to kind of a bit of a refresher, you guys have a few options. One, you can go and check with the Sterling once again to see if there's anything you want to do with your enhancements to maybe uncover some of those memories that are have been missing for some time for some of you. You can also enhance yourself with the help of the Sterling's processes, or you can check and travel to the Gold Sun, where you know that there are some Vespertine machinations in the works. You may go to the Pale Sun, where you know that there are several deceased people that you might know or might be able to find somewhere hidden in the land of the Pale Bureaucracy. Or you guys can attempt to find Mott, who it would seem has been up to some sort of kind of heist or some similar sort of happenings tied to King 9 back in Indigo. So, with all these options laid out, what do all of you do?
I'm imagining that Maurice is kind of split between shouting into the valise, like, well, what kind of books are... I should just come down. But oh no, wait, hold on, Gav. So we got the Sterling. So we got these circlets. It's what you asked for, but we're getting them. So the circlets, they're going to protect us against the unwanted, the mental stuff, the mental protection. And then we've got this diamond thing that's like like gets rid of it. Yeah, I know. But I really wished you were there because I think he could have made us some really cool stuff. I didn't even know what to ask for. Like, I bet he's got a gun, You're
saying I should get another gun? I won't say no to this.
Maybe he could look at your gun. And if there's any like fiction down there, like obviously I'm interested.
Does a book come flying up from the valise?
Oh God, I do kind of want... Yeah, absolutely. I think as you say that, if you've got some fiction, I think you just get, there's a pulp book. You realize it's been kind of like, there's no kind of verbal reply from Kyrrie. I think she's got her mind on other matters. You have a feeling that this was entirely by accident. This thing's been flung up into your face. It's more of like, here.
Out of her library. She was like, no fiction.
I think with this, Maurice kind of wanders over to pick it up and then ends up kind of sitting down cross-legged on the floor, just kind of fascinated at what would pass for, fiction and entertainment and inspiration for the Vespertine.
It's just Narcissus and Goldman fanfic.
I think that the
self-insert fanfic.
The title that you read on the cover is Emilio Drudge's Terrible Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah, sure.
No good, very
I think Maurice will kind of keeps looking up as if he's following the conversation, and it's just totally not, and is just skimming through the book.
I did not vet anything I just saw it and figured the resident expert should probably be the one to be examining it.
Mm-hmm.
But no more Vespertine influence. Definitely got all of them.
As you read through this book, Maurice, you realize that there are several outlined or kind of circled passages in pencil. It is a fictionalized zine, but what it goes into are some very real sounding and very kind of like grim sounding torments that Emilio goes through for his day. It's almost Kafkaesque in how surreal it is, but at the same time, it's very much kind of also like, I think it's almost like Kafka's The Trial, but except if it were the trial, it would be torture. You now have a very clear idea of what the Vespertine find entertaining.
Emilio woke up one day to discover he'd been turned into a roach goblin.
Exactly. Yeah.
No. Is
this awesome? Yes or no? Is it? what's Maurice's opinion of the quality of the writing? Like what does the author is it a known author to him?
I will say this is essentially a zine, and the thing about this,
Make a zine roll. Okay.
yeah, I will tell you this, it's like it is a zine, but the thing that gets you is it seems like an unknown author, but whoever they are, they have a gift for description, and you have a feeling that this might not be a good guy.
Did we find a weird hipster nihilist torture porn zine?
Yeah, that's what you did.
Yeah, you have to go real. You have to search. You have to work real hard to find that nowadays.
Listen, I found the Estranged Library in a magical suitcase that was formerly in the hands of people that really want the void to take over. The fiction is anyone's guess.
Uh-huh.
I did not read any of it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, no judgment or anything.
Maurice, I would be careful that doesn't break your brain.
Uh-huh.
You've got that look on your face. The color is draining.
Can
Not a
Twigg
possessed book,
give
is
this
it?
book a sniff? Well,
You'd
Don't
like
eat
to,
that. You don't know where it's been.
You'd like to give the book. First off, I need to do a couple things. Maurice, go ahead and mark a hidden knowledge as you also see very clearly. You know, like there's a lot of like very ample description in this scene. It maximizes. There's a lot of it's very concise, but it's very clear. As for that sniff, what did you want to do, Twigg?
oh, I just want to see what it smells like
Absolutely.
with my weird little Logavore nose.
As you sniff it, the thing that strikes you is just like a fervor, like a scent of darkness, of dark faceted magic, as somebody kind of poured themselves into this work. Sorry, what were you saying?
So like a lot of MSG.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with a lot of MSG.
Yeah. I think Twigg wrinkles their nose, kind of like if you took a good whiff of a really stank cheese, but like the blue varietals that have like that bitter sharp, like, oh, that might be unsafe to eat, kind of overtone. Just
That's one for all the cheesemongers in the audience. What up? Welcome.
Don't ever say that the hole in the world does not serve you guys.
Every niche is catered to here.
We love our community.
we love stank cheese.
I think as Twigg is sniffing at this, is it just literally like a snuffle?
I think it's literally like an inquisitive snuffle. Like
Maurice, without like kind of just, you know, pulls back just like a little bit, not like deprived, but just like gently pulls back and says, I don't think you should eat this one. In fact, no, I know exactly what I'm going to do with this. And he closes it and sets it to this, puts it like to his side, and is now fully back in the conversation.
Okay.
So, I take it we're not staying around anymore, given that the Vespertine threat for now has been dealt with for the Queen's Court.
I mean, yeah, I think we're ready to go. I think just one stop at the Sterling. I forget, Twigg, how long till your artificial hearts? I already forgot.
Hopper has a fallible memory. Twigg, however, does not. And I feel like Twigg probably also ate that receipt by accident.
I will say that I think that because it is being prioritized, the artificial heart will probably be ready by end of day.
Lovely.
And this will help the whole
Dying
situation. Oh, good.
Allegedly.
Right. Yeah, well, we should not have that happen, the dying part.
Seems like a bad idea.
Sounds like that's our only stop. Go to the Sterling. You ask all the smart questions that we forgot to ask. Pick up our stuff.
What? Me? No. I just want another gun. If that's on the table, you got me all excited for it.
Right. That was the question. I forgot to ask a gun question.
Okay.
I've actually got a couple errands I'd like to run. Nothing big, just in the city. Twigg, are you good to go back to the Sterling? So there's at least one face that he recognizes.
He's gonna have to
splort your heart. Okay.
Put the heart
right.
inside of you, because I feel like hearts work best when they are on the inside of your body.
I didn't know if it was just like a ticket and you just like go up and get it, or.
I mean, formally I would have said that you have to have the heart inside the body, but I've seen leg carriages and some things that make me question the idea that maybe you don't need to put it in your rib cage for it to work.
I wonder if it has to be attached. Is it the idea of a heart?
Actually, let's not ask any of these questions in front of the Sterling. I think they just get way too excited.
Yeah, there are some things I don't need answers to. But one of these things that I do need answers to is, are we going to go after the Vespertine lead that we have in the Golden Sun? We don't know how good that information is going to remain, and it's the best one that we have at the moment.
Gets staler by the day. Let's go.
New heart, no death. New gun for me, because I did such a good job here, and I deserve a little treat. And then we go kill more Vespertine.
Sounds good to me. I was gonna, and Maurice reaches over to the valise and gingerly closes it, and then opens it back up again. Remember the warning we practiced, and then closes it again.
She should be fine in there. I took care of all of the little remaining.
It just let me know you're all right. Like, why is that so much to ask? Hey, everybody, call your mom.
Gav opens the door. Mom, no.
Why is that so much? But I was gonna take this with me. Are we all cool with that?
No. Yes, do take it.
I might take him up on a couple of the things. Like, did you look at the weird menu thing they had on the wall?
There's a menu.
Are you talking about the memory stuff?
No.
Memory?
I don't know about you guys, but I don't know that I trust that.
Yeah, Gav,
What's this about memory?
So the Sterling, when they did a lot of that probing that found out about Twigg's heart situation, also did our brains and found the outline, the abscess, the absence of what our memories used to be, the space they were taken out of, and seems pretty confident that he can fill them back in.
Is that what you want?
I don't think any of us want that, actually, the more we think about it.
I don't understand. We went into the war report so that we all might recover something of what we lost. I thought
think I trust the war report more than, like...
Are you afraid that whatever the Sterling is would implant false memories?
Or like a 95% accurate memory. Is that good enough?
Also, memories.
Well, it's 95% better than nothing.
I think Twigg pipes up from behind you guys. Memories require context. Because what is a really good memory in one narrative is somebody's worst day in another. And if we don't have context for those things, we may not be able to interpret them properly. And that can cascade.
Ultimately, they are your memories and your minds. You may choose to do with them as you wish. I
certainly don't want to discourage you. If that's what you want to do,
Me? No, the war report showed me I have no memories that were lost. I was not born here in in the actuality. But
Are you willing
both...
to bet that your arrival in Saturnine was your first time there?
Well, a few minutes ago I would have said yes, but now you're making me doubt myself.
Oh, I'm real good at that. I think the reason why I'm not going to do it for myself, at least not right now, is I think that this was my plan at some point. And I have to think that I had a good reason for doing it this way. And I'm paralyzed by the thought that maybe this opportunity from the Sterling is something I planned on us having, but I can't shake the doubt that this is not the way to do it.
Well, Maurice, either you wrote everything that's about to happen, and then any choice you make is exactly the choice you wanted yourself to make, or you didn't. It can't be both.
It's not that I planned everything. It's you plan to have knowledge. It's like, you can't tell John Reese that he's going to be the father of John Connor. You know what I mean?
Are they friends of yours?
About?
Oh my God, neither of you know this. Okay.
Like neighbors from the Gray? Something about adoption or whatever?
Do y'all have time?
Names though, but
Do y'all have time?
I mean, not really. We have to start a war that could eventually overtake
it would take
living thing in creation.
30 minutes, I'll tell you everything you
What
need
if
to know
you
about the
told
Terminator
us
franchise.
as we walked to the Sterling?
Okay, I'll have to split off at some point, but absolutely. It's
Right.
really good.
So
okay,
this
so first
is
of
a
all,
complicated story about your neighbors meeting and then having their first child?
No, but I could actually put it in that context. So, okay, James Cameron. Okay,
Smash
wait a minute.
cut.
So there.
You guys arrive at the stable / atelier of Varuna Shakir, the Sterling.
So this robot, he goes through time to stop one baby?
I guess so. I mean, she's not a baby at the time, but yeah.
Okay.
that seems.
Why did they just send one?
I think it was how big the time machine was. And I think Maurice plans to split off at some point, but mechanically how this works is he has...
This story has a lot of plot holes. I'm not sure how well thought it was.
Entertained you using stories, poetry, and song. You gain 1 bene to a pool of your choice.
Incredible. Gav is
and-
hung up on like the bad use of military in this weird story. You call it an action film?
Oh yeah, like one of the best.
All right. I
Budnick's
know
in it. Actually,
I
never
know what a
mind.
movie is, but interesting.
Yeah, so Maurice will peel off with Duncan and the Valise.
I need to know if there's a way to watch this when we get back to Saturnine. Is there a collection of movies that were made in the Gray?
You might have to. I think that the last time you went,
I'm gonna bust this world wide open because now our characters are gonna be doing nothing but watching the Criterion Collection.
I will tell you.
Theoretically, go to the Gray and just go to the movie.
Go watch a movie.
Hey, you guys.
I never thought about using it that way before.
You guys.
It seems like a wild abuse of power, but
There's.
But you know what? Movie Pass was a wild abuse of power.
what?
As you guys.
They're like, we can sell this data, and it did not work out well for them.
As you guys make your way into the atelier, once again, you see all of them, all of the makers side by side with these large kind of four-armed headless creatures called the Variskal. Their faces kind of almost placid, but embedded in their torsos. And they are ferrying materials back and forth to makers' tables. Others are kind of working forges. And of course, at the central classroom, further back in this building, you once again see Varuna Shakir, the Sterling himself, this transgressing figure, kind of looking at this minute style of what looks to be silver jewelry. At the same time, to one side is the young maker Roderick that you all made the acquaintances of yesterday, who it seems is taking a look with the Sterling at some of the work that you guys commissioned. So what do you guys do?
I think Twig just wanders on over and just kind of just gets closer, sees what they're looking at. I don't think this place doesn't feel super formal. We're buying jewelry in a factory. It's not like we're in an art boutique or a gallery.
Yeah, in fact,
not that Twig would act any differently, but still.
Yeah, I was about to say.
In fact, the thing that you see him taking a look at with Roderick is, could you describe for me, in particular, the circlet that you commissioned from the Sterling, this circlet of agency?
The one for Twig?
Yeah.
It is a very small, miniature, almost clockwork looking, like roach goblin.
And yeah, you just see the roach goblin is just this kind of like almost like child goblin like figure out of which these insectile legs are kind of like moving with clockwork precision, as if like there is some sort of mechanism inside of it. And you just hear the Sterling just looking kind of like, while looking very circumspectly at this. Oh, yes, that's very interesting. So that actually creates the feedback loop that, oh, well done, Roderick. Well done. And said, oh, what a coincidence. We just finished this nice commissioned piece. I believe that rounds out the number to 4.
That was super fast.
Well,
This is Gav.
Hi.
Greetings. Oh, that is fascinating. And you just see his eyes aglow as he seems to be looking at the at your chest.
Yeah, my eyes are up here, but
Oh, apologies. I just the halo is not something. I mean, I've seen thousands of them by now, but it's just so interesting to see it revolving around that point of light. It's very unique. Did you have
Thank
that done
you.
at a changery?
No, I came this way. Naturally. At
Interesting.
least I think I did. Anyway, there are 77 angels in there, so yeah, gets quite bright.
Fascinating. And he moves to pick up a jeweler's kind of like eyepiece and just, is it all right if I take a closer look?
You might as well. I don't know what they'll do to you, but sure, go for it.
Oh, very well. And once again, he grabs this set of tongs. Twig, you are very familiar with this, having had this like process done to you before. And he is moving to take the tongs and the eyepiece to look very deeply into Gav's chest. What are you guys gonna do, or if anything, while this is going on?
I mean, Twig's gonna watch. And
Gav's
to see what happens.
Gav's just standing there, like, I don't know if it works the same way here, but I used to be taught you're really not supposed to stare directly at divine sources of energy. They do things to you.
Oh, this is all just old hat from me, and he is looking.
Of course, yes, right, yeah.
I have turned a card on the sun.
That makes sense.
Yeah, at which point I turned the assassin, the adept of mysteries, who is, its meanings are finesse, stealth, betrayal, and finality. The assassin doesn't just bring death, he brings an ending. Dealing death is a magical art all its own. At which point I think he looks back up at you and says, huh. Interesting. It's so fascinating to see. It's not just the angels that are in there, are there?
Well, yeah, it's complicated.
Most things are. Oh, but this process has taken several minutes, as he has just been kind of like looking
I
deep.
think while he's doing that, Gab's like, so I also was told I could maybe talk to you about adding some upgrades to my gun. Is now a good time to talk about that?
And I think that
I know you're like, elbow deep in my chest halo, but I have you.
And he looks back up and he says, "May I see it?"
The halo or my gun?
The gun. I've seen the halo,
yes.
but this is giving me an idea.
She unstraps the sniper rifle and just holds it out in both hands.
Huh. And you've had success hunting things.
The chat is making me laugh.
And you've had success hunting things with this.
Oh, if you call success blowing people's heads off pretty much with one shot, then yes, lots of it.
It's interesting. This is an elusive gun. Illusory, I should say.
It's what?
It's illusory. It comes from the Grey Sun.
Yes, I did steal it out of a museum for Grey artifacts. It's the closest thing that I used to use when I was fighting in the Grey Sun.
That's interesting. Normally, over time, many of these objects, once they are taken out of some sort of protective magic, they tend to dissipate. Huh. It's fascinating that you haven't experienced that. How long have you had this in your possession?
Oh, I want to say a little over 2 years now.
Huh. It's interesting. It seems to be getting, if anything, more real.
I don't know how magic works. I'm not like a Vance or a maker or a weaver. Magic just sort of happens when I think of the thing that I want, and then it occurs. I don't study it. I barely understand how I do anything. It's like, when you see something, it's there. When you hear a noise, you're hearing it. It's just a sense that it's around, and then I can just manipulate it and do things with it. But I didn't think the gun was part of that.
Well, we cater to all sorts here, and it's fascinating having to take a look at it. And he takes the eyepiece off and kind of hefts the rifle and kind of like holds it in his hands and looks at you and says, "What would you like out of this weapon? Is there something you would have it do that it doesn't necessarily do on its own?"
What can you offer?
Well, I can offer you a way to have it work in tandem with you, but you have to understand, my students can make any item that much more real, that much more kindled and more powerful, but I can perfect you.
Me?
Yes. I mean, at Halo, for instance, it's so fascinating. It's part and parcel of you, but I think it used to be your heart, but now something else has taken its place and it's guarding it.
Potentially, I'll take you're the expert on that one. I'll take your word for it. Unless you're trying to upsell me.
No, I would never. Let's put that halo to work, shall we? So, how would you like it if perhaps that illuminated your quarry, made it easier to find?
I would say that sounds extremely beneficial.
Well, all I need are some materials and time. I imagine that I am bound to help your companion here for the next day or so, but at least in the time that I have available, fitting artificial hearts is a delicate process. But if you would like, the following day, maybe I can tune that up for you.
And how much will that run me up?
I've been offering a discounted rate for you and your compatriots. It's really only the smallest thing I could do. I'm really only charging you for parts. So, 3 mage coins?
I could do that. Yeah.
Excellent. So, come in on the following day and we will make sure that that shines a little bit brighter. Now, what can I help the rest of you with? I understand that your commissions are done, and he takes gingerly the roach goblin out of Roderick's hands and extends it to you, Twigg. I also understand I need to have you fitted. Is there anything else that I can procure or do for you? I had mentioned the memories before. I understand there was a little bit of discussion there. Has there been any decision one way or the other?
Well, I wasn't part of that one. I'm pretty sure I'm not missing any memories. It's a lot. Again, it's complicated. But you'll need to talk to my companions about what they would like to do.
Very well. And I think he just turns to expectantly look at the other two of you.
I ain't here. I peeled off.
Oh, that's right. Looks expectantly at Twigg then. Yeah.
You're trapped in here with me. Twigg just kind of. We might circle back to the memory conversation, but mostly I'd just really like to not be dying.
All right. Well,
not to be melodramatic or anything.
In that case, step into my parlor. And you realize that past this central area, there seems to be almost like a kind of a curtain leading into a deeper area. And you realize that this is the Sterling's personal workshop as he begins moving past. And you see as he's kind of walking, there are these kind of arcane implements of different sorts and different varieties that you haven't seen before. But as he kind of makes way to kind of close the curtains for privacy, he looks back at you, Gabrielle, and just says, if you would like, please peruse the wares of my students, perhaps reconvene with your other companion. This should take hopefully no more than 2 or 3 hours, but well, this is always delicate work, so time may be variant. And the curtains close, and it is kind of the equivalent of a medical office or kind of an exam room, at least in this case for you, Twigg. And he looks, and there is a kind of very comfortable looking chair that is elevated off of the ground, but seems to have these kind of floating stepping stones leading up to it. Please make yourself comfortable.
Twigg does so with panache.
So, let me take a look once again. Now, the intention is, and toward you realize that over to one side is a small kind of plinth on which is located this kind of shifting mass of different materials that seem to shift and whirl with it. Bands of steel, bands of wood, and also of gold that seem to shimmer and to rotate and turn. And you realize, as you kind of see almost these 4 little portholes located inside of it, that you are staring at this artificial heart that has been crafted for you. So, it should be noted that I can bind this inside of you. There are other magics that allow me to perhaps place it inside of your mind for safekeeping. I would recommend sealing this wound, however, and this presents an opportunity. Magic is temperamental, and at the same time, this is a very flexible instrument in a way. It must behave according to how the bearer might take it in. It behaves according to the context that you provide it. Many magical items do. They represent a ideal. Kindled items, a kindled hat is the ideal version of that particular hat, that particular style. It is, at least to someone. So, know that when I give this to you, it will cease to be this multivariant thing, and it will settle on what you give it. So it's up to you to decide how this should function, what it should do, where it should live inside of you. But once you take it, it will indeed live inside of you, at least insofar as long as you need it, before you find, well, what you've lost. Are you ready?
What makes you so sure that you can heal this? Other people have tried. Angels have tried.
Angels are fantastic creators, but we are vislae. We walk the path of suns. We do the impossible every day. We wield magics no other cosmic being knows. Why do you think that it's only vislae that can summon demons and angels and bind them according to colloquy and promises? We are unique, and our rules are different from those of the angels. And more to the point, I am a maker, and a damn fine one at that.
Oh, the ego on this boy. I think Twigg is going to no, Twigg wouldn't resist pushing back a little bit. Fuck that. You seem super assured about your uniqueness. But aren't you just filling in the space that's been left to you?
What do you mean?
All the rules. When you have rules for one thing, it creates space, creates rigidity. You're talking like you exist in a vacuum, and you don't. You're defined by the things around you. That's how you just defined yourself. You're defined by demons and defined by angels and Lacuna and all the other creatures of the worlds. Are you limitless, or are you just very good at existing in your lane?
I'm feeling very limited right now. Do you want this damn heart or not?
Yes, yeah, no.
Yeah,
like
Gav is laughing just like a little bit in the corner.
Twig's just like, yeah, does it matter? Do I just makes a bunch of wet noises?
And gingerly, patiently, with the patience that only a teacher knows, he takes your hand and places it on the heart, and pulls your other hand and places it on the heart, and guiding your hands begins to push it towards your chest. But before opening that gauze and the binding, looks at you and says, "Now, are you sure you are ready and that this is what you want?"
I don't want to find out what dying's like. Thanks. I think I've done that before, and I don't think it stuck.
And he pushes it towards you, this artificial heart, which stops its protean kind of changing and metamorphosizing and all of the different shapes that it's taking on. And what does it look like as this artificial heart settles and finalizes on a shape and then just pushes into your chest?
I don't think it looks very much like a heart at all. I think it there's almost maybe the implication of a human-ish heart, but like the ventricles are wrong and there's way too many attachment points for arteries. But I think it's oddly modeled. It has taken on a it looks both plant-like and fleshy, but also with cracks of red, kind of glowing red punctuating it. And just these strange areas that could be ink, could be char. It's hard to say.
As this new form solidifies and takes hold, you see it pass through the folds of your chest, almost as though it were ethereal or perhaps even kind of incorporeal. But then you feel it surge and solidify and just stick inside of your heart. And again, you hear, and then suddenly, as it thuds to life, and the sound begins to fade out of your ears as you watch the wound that you have borne on you since leaving the since first arriving in the actuality begin to seal and to kind of close itself almost seamlessly. But what is the mark that is left behind by this process that only you will know?
Ooh. I think there is a very odd shimmer, almost like somebody turned a lacuna on its side and looked at it from the wrong plane.
Excellent. So,
like there's something there, but you just can't see it because you're looking at a two-dimensional thing in a three-dimensional world.
I love it. Absolutely. It defies perception except for those who know what to look for. So,
How do you feel?
I forgot how loud these things are.
and your wound has been sealed for the time being. You are now in possession of an artificial heart crafted for you by one of the finest makers. What do all of you do next?
I think Twigg.
What's Maurice up to?
Yeah,
Twigg.
Actually, that is a good question.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say we should go find Maurice, but yeah, what has been Maurice?
So Maurice was walking around and looking for two things, looking for the equivalent of a nice outdoor table at a cafe, but also maybe prior to that, a place where he could get some new threads. The suit of the Sanguine Lily is feeling a little past Maurice, and he needs something new.
All right. I think that easily enough you can find one of these makers who is specializing in a kind of there are many different makers within the Sterling's kind of atelier. I am going to turn a card to see if one of them has a particular gift. The Incriminating Skull. Disaster, discovery, evidence, connections, friends, and family. The skull is uncovered, revealing a long-buried wrong. It is evidence of a crime. However, the skull was once a person, and that person's family and friends miss them. They wonder what happened to them, and discovering the remains of the victim actually brings them comfort and closure on the situation. Actually, what I love about this is that it accentuates the color gold. Not only that, but this is, it's in the spirit of revelation and discovery. So my question is, what are you looking for in particular in this kind of garb?
The way the green, the readiness of it, and the way that it has hidden weapons in it doesn't seem to jive with this new bright sigil on his hand, this rejection of hatred and emblem of healing. It's clashing on a soulful level to him.
If anything, it is a crime of fashion indeed. Yes.
So looking for something like he's feeling very inspired. Feeling very local. Not looking for a hot shot maker looking to prove himself on the city on the hill. Someone who's been doing this for a while and making denizens and angels happy.
Absolutely. I think that as you're kind of like meandering around, the thing that does kind of strike you is there is an elderly kind of assistant to the Sterling, and flanked on either side by Varaskal, these two giant kind of creatures with 4 arms. They are manipulating a massive loom that seems to be spinning out this really kind of like almost shimmering kind of white silver thread. And as you kind of like walk around and take this in, the thing that really drew your eye were all of the different mannequins that have been adorned with like some very kind of, I won't say subtle, because the thing that catches your eye are the silver threads and the silver filigrees in some of the works on display. But there are vests, there are kind of like the equivalent of tabards, as well as things that are more in the traditional vislae style, almost kind of like very like think about like what it would look like business Jedi.
Yeah. I've got something I want to propose. I'd like to spend a hidden knowledge to recognize that one item in particular is made with a thread that comes from the true spiders of the Silver Sun.
Absolutely. I will tell you this, there is filigreed around this kind of like one item. And what is it kind of like this style you're looking for? You're looking for something a little bit less flashy, a little bit less showy, a little bit more earnest, but like what does that look like?
So like this something unpretentious, but I think this stands out because it's not as like shiny. There's no glint to it. This is a little bit more matte, a little bit more eggshell white to its look.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you kind of like look, there is just this very kind of like matte gray that stands out from all of the shimmering silver as you realize that it is woven with spider silk. This, I think, is really kind of like a fine jacket that I think what it does is it really ties together rather than buttons. And I think it has probably a very nice large kind of shawl collar. It's almost kind of like I want to say almost like a mix between a cardigan and a blazer in a way. Is this kind of like I think this is what catches your eye as you are looking for the appropriate maker for the job.
I think it's perfect. I'm trying not to look at the chat that my fellow players are saying right now. It's perfect. And I think he walks over and starts asking questions about it. And make sure to ask if there's any extra material as well.
Yeah. And I think the woman that you encounter, this elderly kind of matronly looking figure, and her hands are just so kind of like gnarled and wrinkled from all of the work that she has put into this work. As she kind of just runs her hands over each of the materials very lovingly, as she's kind of like taking them in and kind of like runs a hand down the output of this kind of silver loom. And she says, "Oh, yes, see something that interested you?"
This one in particular, I noticed that this was made of spider silk.
Oh, yes, true spider silk, in fact.
Yeah, I guess I have a discerning eye.
You indeed do. I will say that this is very hard to come by, however, but I am, of course, as are all of us, beholden to you for your work. I will say that this was really more of a display piece, more of a proof of concept, if you would be interested in owning it, but is there anything else I can provide, perhaps? Maybe some adjustments, some tailoring according to your needs?
I'd definitely like to walk out with that today, and any tailoring that we can do today, I'm happy to oblige. Very curious where you sourced that material?
Well, typically the true spiders stay in their realm, but there are some that make a point of traveling between the realms and perhaps even soliciting some business here and there. This in particular was a provision of one Parthos.
Fascinating. Well, I think what I'd like to do is maybe with anything that we can tailor off and tighten up here, maybe get something around, I don't know, handkerchief size for my dog right here.
Oh, hello. And then as you see Duncan kind of like looks up, there's kind of like this very strange look on Duncan's muzzle. There's not like a happy bark or kind of like that lolling tongue that's kind of like expressing that kind of jovial feeling. It's just kind of like a plain look. You realize that Duncan is looking very pointedly at this suit.
Something else, huh, boy?
Don't like it. Yeah, there's like a little kind of growl that just says, "Don't like it."
I think Maurice just kind of gets down and says, "Good boy, good boy," and says, "Absolutely, let's get measured for it."
Yeah, absolutely. And as you do, you get your measurements taken, and it's sometime after this that I think the other two find you. And when the two of you guys rejoin Maurice, he is wearing this beautiful kind of like matte gray spider silk kind of blazer. And I think that, do you end up trying to give Duncan the handkerchief? Are you holding on to it for your own kind of like hoping to persuade him? What do you do?
Holding on to it for now. I think wearing this in the final form, finally tailored, and has his other suit packed up, ready to go, and is kind of throughout the whole fitting process trying to grok what Duncan was so concerned about.
And as you are kind of trying to grok this, a couple things I will go ahead and tell you is, one, the cost of the suit is either 4 mage coins or 400 crystal orbs. It's a very, very finely crafted suit.
He hands over the mage coins.
Excellent. The other thing I will tell you is that as the two of you guys come, there's something very striking about this ensemble. It feels natural to see Maurice in it. It feels like it was made for him, yes, but also that he was made for it. So,
do I feel this good?
Yeah,
in it?
You feel fantastic. You look in the mirror, and as you do, I would like
mirror.
Not
Where?
No, not the mirror. I will say this, definitely not a mirror. Instead, what the seamstress does, this kind of silver seamstress does, is she conjures a simulacrum of you, basically kind of like based on her discerning eye. Now I'm gonna turn a card. Oh, that is fascinating. The Alchemist, the Adept of Secrets. Meanings, complexity, transformation, and knowledge. The alchemist seeks transformation, usually in the sense of advancement or enlightenment. She hopes to better herself through understanding. As Adept of the Secrets family, the alchemist is of course complicated. Her knowledge is deep and vast. Magical processes surround her. Chemicals and substances and the flames that catalyzes them all dance upon her fingertips. But her true raw materials are her own essence and her own soul. Makers often see this card as a good omen. The alchemist's complexity suggests that there's far more to a situation than previously understood. Just as often, however, she indicates drastic and sudden change, a new opportunity, a new person involved, or a new facet to a problem. Should one turn the alchemist and the dangerous elixir consecutively, this is called the ultimate transformation, and it suggests total and incomplete upheaval of the situation and possibly someone involved in it. A situation transforms, usually by becoming more complex. New NPCs get involved, new facts arise, new challenges or barriers present themselves. The fumes of the alchemist's work offer her both bane and boon. Ooh.
So Adept is the plus.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Which one's Adept?
Which one's Adept? Oh, Adept. I think that one is actually the apprentice is the negative. I think the Adept is the
Adepts
negative.
play another card, right?
Yeah, I think so, actually.
Okay.
All right, let me do that. Ooh, okay, perfect. All right, this is the sealed door. Its color is silver. It weakens gold. Its meanings are delay, inaction, barriers, and unchanging. The door holds more promise than a wall, but a sealed door is perhaps worse for the egress it suggests and then denies. The barrier prevents us from moving forward. It is delay, wasted time, a failed attempt. Still, a door with a keyhole suggests both the existence of a key and something valuable on the other side. Of course, the door in the family of secrets is sealed. It keeps the secrets safe. The implication, of course, is that great discoveries lie on the other side if you can only get there. He wept at the barrier. It bested him as surely as any warrior. Okay, so this is what happens as you look at yourself in this suit. As you look at yourself in this suit, this simulacrum, you realize that there is a familiarity to it, this form. And it's not one that you would associate with yourself. No, in fact, the thing that it reminds you of very deeply and very surely is when, as Kieran, you looked at yourself as the Spider Prince. Like, I think that there is this moment where, almost like a trick of the light, your form kind of like, when you first saw it, there in your mind's eye, you saw reflected back at you your younger self. More to the point, however, as you've been thinking about your memories, and this has been on your mind, and not only that, but as you are looking at this emblem, this kind of symbol of the true spiders, you have a very distinct flash of a stern face looking back at you, saying very clearly in a voice, and it's a human face with 8 eyes. and 2 hands slamming down on a table, bending it with the force of a weight that is unseen by the illusion that he donned for your benefit. I forbid it! And as you hear it resounding in your mind, you hear Duncan barking very kind of fiercely. And the thing that strikes all of you is, as Duncan is barking, is there's not a human speech equivalent that you hear. It's just a manifestation of yelling and fear, as suddenly Duncan's teeth sink into your ankle, Maurice. And you are stirred back from the memory, and you find Duncan tugging at your pant leg as if to stir you from this moment.
Hey, what's wrong, boy? What's wrong? Crouched on his haunches, looking him in the eye.
All of you just hear again the barks as I think something just kind of rises out of Duncan. There's some semblance of that reason that you hear as he's barking. Roof, roof! I don't like it. I don't like it.
I believe you and I love you, boy. We're gonna walk out with this, okay?
Going on?
I choose to blame this on Twigg, right?
Fuck you!
Suit?
I'm not even there.
No. Remember, I woke up the dog. It's not even a thought form anymore. It's something else. Still a good boy.
And just like a.
Why is the dog barking at your suit?
I think it's stirring up some troubling associations for the thought form. No, that doesn't make sense. Do I have to pick you up? Huh?
And I think that, Duncan has gone quiet, but also has kind of gone placid. And at that point, I think that it is as good for you as acquiescence. Or at least the closest thing you will find to acquiescence.
Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I think Maurice kind of apologizes and kind of smooths everything over. It's fine. Just a lot of excitement going on. I mean, clearly this thing looks great, right?
I mean, yeah.
I insight check the suit.
Absolutely. What would you like to do?
What do I always do, Zach?
Are you going
to smell it?
As you smell it,
I think Twigg just kind of walks over and just leans in real close, and tugs the lapels a little bit and gives it a sniffly.
As you do that, and I just love the mental image of you snuffling Maurice's suit, right next to him. You get this very clear image in your mind. Not like a clear image, but necessarily you feel a clear insight into what this is. It is powerful silver magic, incredibly powerful. I think that the thing about this is it is akin to kind of God silk, if you could even call it that. The idea, and I think that all of you are now kind of aware of, is the idea that true spiders are akin to gods, and the night side is where they live. And this came directly from a god.
I think Maurice.
Are you wearing your dad's revulsion?
Oh no!
Are you saying this out loud?
No.
Are you actually saying this out loud?
No. Oh no.
Yeah, Twigg absolutely says that out loud. Your dad's a true spider, right?
Sure. Actually, could you say that a little bit louder?
I mean, I'm pretty quiet. I can if you'd like me to. I think Twigg gets a little shit.
I think
you should burn it.
I think Maurice thumbs the the Testament of Sons and is like, can we just talk about like telepathy group chat? Can we like not have this conversation right here? If this thing's bad, I need to take it with me and deal with it.
This is all I'm going to be thinking about now. We have so many things that we have to deal with, and now I'm just going to be thinking about... No, I can't even say it. I can't even think it. Oh, I need to take a shower.
Well, as long as you're saying it in this mental group chat and not out loud. Thank you so much. You've been so wonderful. I apologize for my pet. I think we're all set here. Thank you so much. And he grips the valise tight.
Very well. I hope that you find it to your liking. It is indeed very protective and very powerful. I think that it, in the right hands, it is a fantastic work. So please do be ginger with it. And she bows and, kind of goes back to the loom.
And Maurice starts walking and says, walk and talk, walk and talk.
We were so close to having one normal outing, and then you had to say that. And now it's just going to be there, in my head, forever. I don't even know if that's true. Why do you say things like that, and then they stick in my head like this?
You mean like web? Twig just kind of gives another little gremlin smile. I'm assuming. Wait, do we have to whisper when we're in the talking in our heads? It feels wrong to talk.
No, you don't.
Yeah, don't stop it. No, whisper. It feels better.
Look, Twig, I don't want to like patronize, but I wrote more smut erotica before you were born.
No, listen. That's fine. Oh, that's fine. Do you know how many people I've killed in horrible, brutal ways? And I'll probably do some more in the very near future. But this is the thing that is now going to be in my head.
We don't need
to
compete with filling each other's heads with strange things. There's enough of that going around anyway.
It's like the foot carriage. It was like the top one, and now this is real close. I wish I didn't know that.
And now I'm just imagining the foot carriage in a smut
I
novel.
need you to burn the suit now.
Okay, that's cursed. Fuck you, Bill. That's cursed. That's the most cursed thing I've ever heard. I
love playing a very serious woman, but there are some things in this world that are a bridge too far.
All right, as you guys make your way back towards your quarters, having accomplished this very strange kind of shopping trip, that is where we're going to take our 5-minute or 10-minute break. So, you guys make your way back to the palace. Your shopping trip in your shopping pieces and kind of items in tow. All of you have at your disposal a circlet of agency that is basically customized according to Twig specifications for each of you. You have one extra kind of in tow with you that you will give to Kyrrie when you have an opportunity. But in addition, you have one diamond of mind shielding, an ephemera that was given to you by the Sterling as well, basically a one-off. And you now have this vestments of the True Spider. So, as you guys make your way back, what's going on? What's on all y'all minds?
No, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Twig feels good, like better than they've felt in a while. Like, it's unclear whether there's actually blood flowing. There's like a heart pumping, and that's new. And I think like there's definitely like, because where they've been a little bit, they've been looking like they've needed the world's biggest cup of coffee for a hot minute now. Mm-hmm. And I think this is like the first time that they're like, their body language is definitely a little bit more like vivacious.
I will tell you this actually. As you're kind of like making your way around, you realize that, and I think that with your kind of like knowledge of magical lore, the thing that you realize is that your heart is not pumping blood. It's pumping magic through it. Because for many vislae, magic is essentially your lifeblood. And the thing that you realize is that your life's blood not being provided to you, this source of magic not being kind of pushed throughout your being, has limited you in many ways. However, now that something is taking up that slack, even if it is not actually your own heart, your capabilities as a magical adept are surging with a newfound kind of sense of potential. And with that in mind, you may now have access to all of the secrets that you have purchased up to this session.
Yes. It's so many.
Yeah. So you
wait. Do I get the stuff from the Sterling as well?
I will say that the stuff from the Sterling, insofar as having an actual artificial heart, or what are you talking? Oh,
the other stuff.
I think you will need to make a separate trip. I'm gonna draw the line there because having your heart,
I can't become a god.
Having a heart installed is a big procedure, and this one was outpatient. Okay.
It was outpatient, and it was that doctor talked a lot, and I didn't even get any anesthesia.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
I don't think that guy was a doctor at all.
Still cheaper than American
right
open heart surgery.
Yeah, I could do that in a day of parts and labor, no problem.
Look, vislae are miraculous. They play by their own rules. I was trying to explain it, and then you looked to give vislae in the mouth.
It was pretty funny.
I'm not sorry.
I'm now a big fan of Dr. Farmer over there.
Like,
for me, it's in 5e. I want to make an artificer that's just like, oh, there's your problem.
I love it. Please.
There's
Got
the
a
blue collar,
busted-
like, well, I suppose I could get a components pouch down here and root through it, but I mean that special order on a
Get a couple of your guys working on it.
Yeah.
Gem worth at least 500 gold pieces.
If I had my own fella coming in, I'll tell you, I could do it for about 1,000 gold pieces.
Oh my god, I hate you guys.
Yeah, what was it? Oh,
Big fan of this character now.
there's your problem. Eye of Vecna, right there in your carburetor.
Your camera. It's the Eye of Vecna in the exhaust pipe. Somebody was fucking around and got sucked up in.
Yeah.
All right. For our audience slash listeners edification. Actually, do you deserve to know what secrets I got? Maybe.
Wow. I don't know. All right, everybody think about what you deserve. Meditate on that for a minute.
I can certainly think about what you
Now
deserve.
go ahead,
if you
Hopper.
like.
Do whatever you were going to do in the first place.
I'm going to realize that I have an infinite amount of bad karma I've earned from pointing out that your new suit might have come from your dad's butt.
Stop. God damn it.
And I'm going to reward everybody.
It sounds like a playground insult, but it's extremely good.
What are those?
That is my crux. All right.
Oh my god, I think I just got a headache from laughing. I have the Beyond Me secret, the Elevate Spells secret, and the Advanced Sortilege secret. Just a little bit of across the board stuff I can do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But as you're kind of like feeling this new potential surging through you, what are Gavriel and Maurice doing?
Gav is sort of getting her shit together. If we're back like at our suite, I'm assuming. Yeah, she's sort of talking off the cuff, but also starting to pack up the minimal amount that she even brought, which wasn't much. But it's just sort of reiterating, like, we should probably figure out where our next heading is going to be if we want to catch up to the Vespertine.
Maurice is sitting at a desk. I think he's gotten whatever the equivalent of a like chisel tip Sharpie is in the Silver Sun, and he's kind of going through the book very slowly and just blacking out portions. And looks up and says, well, I think the only thing we were waiting for is the other part of your rifle, right?
True. It's mostly going to be something that is put into my halo, it sounds like now. Either way, it's going to be helpful. But I wasn't... Was I given a day estimate on that one? I was not.
I think it was that he could start tomorrow.
Okay.
So basically because he had his hands full with Twigg's heart. But now...
We could always come back for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always going to be a lot to do here.
Look, we have a trail. We don't know how long it's going to last.
It's getting colder.
And the only other thing I can reasonably think to do is find a way to communicate with Kieran about what's been going on and put my mother and father back in communication with him. I'm not sure how to arrange that. I don't think they're willing to leave yet, and I'm not willing to risk asking them that, considering the Vespertine were already here at the Silver Sun's doorstep, and they left Saturine to try to avoid them.
I think, yeah, Maurice kind of stops his blacking out in this book and looks up and says, yeah, what do your mom and dad even want to do right now?
Well, I would hope it would be to stop the Vespertine, in whatever way they're able to do that.
Where are they right now? Can they come with us?
We could ask if they're willing to do that. There was obviously a reason that they were here and hidden for so long. I doubt it was just for fun.
Maurice picks up his testament and is like, I could call them. And he reaches out telepathically to Shia and Maduin, and keeping in mind that this is a very intrusive thing to do, and terribly sorry to bother. Hope this is a good time. We're discussing next moves and would love to involve you. We're at the diplomatic quarters. This is Maurice.
And I think, you
can respond to this message.
Quick question. Do you reach out only to Shia, or do you reach out to both Shia and Maduin?
And Maduin, yeah.
Yeah, okay. As you say this, there is, I think, a moment where a strange kind of almost squawking kind of avian language kind of a few seconds, like a sharp reply almost out of surprise, and then a moment where, yes, I can make myself available. And then at which point you hear the voice of General Kazan saying, yes, I think that this sounds like a good plan. I will be there shortly. Both of us shall. And so it's not too much time before you find yourselves sitting in the diplomat's quarters with Shia Kazan and with Maduin, Gabrielle's parents. And I think they're both kind of looking expectantly at all of you. I think that there is this moment where I think that General Kazan is kind of appraising both Twigg and Maurice just kind of like momentarily as she kind of like takes in this new suit and just kind of like looks to all of you, says, so I see you and your friends have been busy.
Just gathering necessary materials. We are all aware of the lead that we have on the Vespertine cell in the Golden Sun. We are hoping to eliminate it the same way that we were able to eliminate the threat here in the Silver Sun, but we're not sure. Well, do you want to join us?
I think that your mother and I think Maduin are kind of like looking at each other, and I think Maduin you realize that Maduin has taken your mother's hand and is looking very pointedly at her, which you realize they're having a conversation very briefly, and they look at you, and finally General Kazan says, the truth of the matter is that we want to help you, to do whatever we can, because to rid the actuality of the influence of the Vespertine, this is very much is the case. We have some acumen between your father and I, and your father is, let us just say that if the agents of the Vespertine were to more than likely discover his true state, then this could be very problematic for him, which is why he will be traveling disguised. And you see his form shimmer as that illusory power that is available to the Erebast. He flexes it, and as he does, you see a man who's just this almost kind of like nondescriptness of a man with kind of a very sharp, almost aquiline avian nose pointing out of deep set eyes looking at all of you. Very much in the style of kind of like the vislae that you have encountered in Saturnine, with a few touches of silver here and there. And she says, we will accompany you wherever you wish to go. But my question is there anything that we can do to best help this effort? There is much that we have not caught up on. There are many things that we do not know. You have a better understanding of what awaits us than we do. What would you have us do?
Maurice kind of clears his throat and says, well, so far the plan was to hide both of you here. And ever since the war report, plans have changed. Maybe the best way you could help us is to help yourselves, to do what would be best for you. I know that Kieran wanted to connect with you. Maybe, and he kind of looks around to the rest of the group, maybe that's a good path forward.
And at this point, Shia and Maduin look pointedly at you, Gabrielle. Is that what would make the most sense for us? What would you have us do?
Look, it's complicated. It's clear that you need to remain here, or did, in order to evade the Vespertine's influence. But the Vespertine, they've already shown up on your doorstep. And they're probably going to keep coming. I certainly don't know how to assure your safety, let alone my own. But you should do what you need to do to stay alive. And if that means remaining here and communicating with Kieran, then by all means do it. But if you wish to fight, well, then the offer stands. But I don't think I'm in a position to make you do anything. We're on the back foot here with the Vespertine, trying to catch up. We might have that option if we can get ahead of the cells that we know are active. If we miss this chance, then we're going to be acting on the defensive for a very long time.
I suppose it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have a pathwalker letting us get from A to Z.
And where is Von Milas?
Saturnine.
There are a few preparations we must make before we go. We can send you wherever you need to, but where in Saturnine is Kieran Von Milas?
Maurice thinks about how best to describe his involvement and just says, go to the Acclamation Center in Fartown. Look for the Hendasa. Tell them Maurice sent you.
All right, so we can ask for Kieran Von Milas and he will be there, or is there anyone else we should talk to?
No, actually, I wouldn't use that name, actually, at all. If you go to the Hendasa Acclamation Center in Fartown and make your presence known, Von Milas will find you.
I wouldn't be surprised if he knew that you were in Saturnine the minute you arrived.
He does have a way for gathering information.
And Maurice says, points at your pocket, Gav, and says, they could wave.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've done that before, but I'm just going to pull out the eye again and do a quick scan. And I'm going to try to turn it back on me to sort of do some... I don't think there's any sound, but I'm just going to do a gesture that's like, they're going to you.
And yeah, and you can... I think that there's enough kind of like stationery available in the diplomat's quarters where you can easily write this down. And I think that, you know, the eye is kind of like... wherever you kind of like, whenever you try to like rotate it away from like Maduin and Shia, you can feel it spin really hard against your fingers to get like a better look at them. And yeah, I think that there is this moment, however, when it kind of comes to a rest between your thumb and your forefinger. And you kind of realize that this is probably its way of either nodding or acquiescing.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so this message has been communicated, at which point Shia and Maduin just look to you and say, very well. And then they kind of like look at you, Twigg and Maurice, and they say, if it's possible, we would like to speak with our daughter for a moment.
Of course.
And I think that what they do is, even if you choose not to leave the room, Maduin, in this kind of strange shape, which kind of once again shimmers and leaves the real kind of Arabast form in front of you, kind of staring. And there's kind of like this very inscrutable look on his face. As he kind of seems to be taking you in. And he takes his hands and he extends one to you and one to your mother.
I'll take it.
And once again, you have that same experience that you had with when you were seeing the world through Mott's eyes, where Maduin has pulled you into a psychic space of comfort to have a conversation with you. And my question is, what form does this liminal space take as both you and your mother find yourselves there to speak privately?
What, does it look different to each of us a little bit, or?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that it is a space that I think that the intention there is for you to feel comfortable. So what does that look like?
It's gonna look like my barracks back in Russia.
And I think that You're kind of seated at this table wherein I think that Masha and Galena, you have probably kind of traded 1,000 stories and 1,000 jokes together. And now sitting down at this table is your mother and your father. And when your father speaks, that kind of avian language is as clear as a bell to everybody here. And he looks to you and says, "There's so much about you that I don't yet know, that your mother and I wish we could learn. But it seems that this war is marching on."
That tends to be the way of these things.
It was a very brave thing that you did coming here for us. The unknowable angel gave us an option. Really more of an ultimatum that we would have to leave his protection and leave the remaining pathwalkers behind if we would dare to meet with you. And I am glad that we took that risk. As am I, Shia says.
I hope that it wasn't my coming here that has potentially revealed the Pathwalkers to our enemies.
I think that these things have been in the works for some time. Knowing the Vespertine, their plans always seem to be in motion. I imagine they were in motion long before you came here, probably before you even realized who you were.
I don't doubt it. This is difficult. I know you are my parents and I want to know you better, but I was raised by other parents. I don't care if they were illusions or not. They did raise me. And I'm sorry about that. That you did not have a choice.
All we can do is promise to you that should we see the end of this conflict, should we survive, should you be successful in this rebellion, this resistance, in whatever you set out to do, that we make up for lost time.
Yeah. I think I would like that. I've not really known a life that didn't involve war or death and conflict. I didn't expect to live through the one that I was already involved with. I do not see why this should be any different.
And your father kind of like looks off to the side and thinks, "A world without war. What a concept."
I've yet to see it.
While we are here, is there any way that we can help you before we make our way to Von Milas? Is there anything that I can do?
We might need a path to get us to the Golden Sun.
I have been there many a time. I can make you a path. Just know that when you draw a path without having been there before, if you find yourself skipping suns, there's always been talk that perhaps this process, this direct route, incurs with it some kind of curse. But I think it's less of a curse and more of notice by someone who would, or something that would prevent such easy transit. Just know that this is a potential risk. It could be hearsay, but then again, I never deign to try to leap the path without discovering the order of all things.
Well, I'll incur that debt. Might as well add more enemies to my roster or curses upon me. It's hard to keep track. I think we'll take that risk.
Very well. I will make the preparations for the next day. In the meantime, whatever you need to do to prepare yourselves, you should do so tonight. In what little time we have, I can also do my best to help you with this spell. With these teachings that I am granting you, it is hard to learn so quickly, but you are a quick study.
I try to be. I don't understand half the magic that I do, it just seems to happen.
And your father, I think there is just kind of like this interesting kind of like look that crosses his avian face as he looks at you and then looks back to Shia before meeting your eyes again and saying, "My people have gifts that occur to us quite naturally. But even so, this might be something new. You combined with this," and he gestures towards the seed of truth lingering in your chest. This could be something truly unique.
Or a disaster.
Well, let's play the odds that that's not the case.
I hope so.
And he kind of nods, and you realize that the language that he is speaking to you, the kind of like the mode in which he is communicating with you, is very much not natural to him. He is, of course, an entirely different species of people. And I think that he's really letting your mother take the lead here, but at the same time, you realize just how much your mother has imparted to him and how much of this is his own kind of revelation in that regard, and how much of this is your mother's voice speaking through him. And I think in recognizance of this, in this moment, he looks to you, and in a voice in your mind that is distinctly that of the Arabast, there is this moment where images kind of flood your mind, and you realize that it is your father's language. As he says to you, "There are so many things I want to show you. So many things about us you need to learn. But you have to come back. Promise me you will."
I can't do that. You're a soldier too.
I know. And that sad look as these giant eyes kind of lid and blink, two sets of eyelids. And he looks at you one last time. and releases his hands. And all three of you are back in the diplomat's quarters. Your mother says, "We will see you tomorrow at dawn. Be ready."
We will be.
And they leave. What do you guys get up to this night? Are there any other conversations you wish to have, things that you wish to do to prepare?
I think Maurice exited with the valise to just enclose the door to his side room, and has kept it shut and has not come back out.
Okay. What about you, Twigg?
I love how I went to clear my throat and then unmuted the mic. Smooth, professional.
Of course.
I think Twigg is. Ooh, what is Twigg doing? I think Twigg's figuring out that they need to. Some of their abilities do require them to have an open wound, which has been a non-issue for as long as they can remember. And they are seeking. They're just trying to figure out what the most efficient way to make that work in the middle of combat. But I think just generally loading as much crap into this jacket as humanly possible, or vislae possible, or not even really vislae, but whatever, as personably possible. Like food and books and just general little trinkets and useful items and oddities. I think they're itchy. They're ready to go, ready to move. They're also I think we see Twigg just anxiously preparing, triple checking all of the pockets.
Is there anything that all of you wish to say to each other before you embark on this?
I think, how much time do we have? Like, how much time is passing here?
I would say you guys probably came back in the early evening. So you have a few hours before you would like to, if you would like to rest, you may. Otherwise, you can work through the night. We can deal with the consequences of that later.
I think Maurice is going to make some choices here. I think he'd like to learn a spell.
Okay.
With some of the acumen that he has.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd like to learn the spell Imbue Knowledge, which I'll put in our chat for everyone's edification. And as he goes through this book that was found in the Vespertine library, he's creating some blackout poetry with it. Mm-hmm. And he's using his secret poetic magic to put a spell in this. And he's putting it in Imbue Knowledge. And he's tying the events of the Albrustam to this.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what went down on that spot. And he's taken a shower, and he's wearing a robe, and he's got the spider silk thing kind of on a hanger, kind of draped over, I think, a bed or a chair. And he looks up from this process and makes a decision and asks for what's his name? Ocarian? And does not do this in a showy way, but is not necessarily like hiding this from his companions here, but asks for Ocarian and asks if Ocarian is able to send packages to the night side of the Silver Sun.
And I think that Ocarian arrives very quickly and just says, "Well, that's a very particular and strange request. I think it can be done, especially given how you have helped the realm, but to whom do you wish to have this delivered?
My father.
Very well.
And Maurice prepares both the book and the suit, very neatly folded and packaged, and hands over as many, actually the entirety of the crystal orbs that he just got. So I think, what was that, 300?
Mm-hmm.
And says, make sure it gets where it needs to go.
I certainly will do this. I will probably have to make use of someone who has encountered or evaded Ravenal before, but very well, we will do this to the best of our ability.
Thank you. just stand there, just full robe. Just thanks.
And he takes the package and leaves.
And I think Maurice is just kind of hanging out with Duncan. Is Duncan noticeably back to his old self?
I think, yeah, absolutely. He is, I think he was kind of like, his ears were pinned back as he was watching the package leave. And then as soon as it's gone, just looking at you, kind of like, I think a little bit more mollified by this, but at the same time kind of like makes eye contact with you and whimpers.
I think Maurice very quietly says, "Where did you go, boy?"
And I think there is just this kind of like woof that comes with, and you hear in your mind, I smelled something old and bad and something that made you unhappy.
You got a good nose.
And I think that just like, I think Duncan kind of like clambers up onto your robed form and just kind of starts licking your face.
Ew, ew, ah, ah, ah.
And yeah, I think unless anybody has any additional business, we can continue with the events of the following day. Do any of you guys kind of impart a message to Kyrrie? What do you do?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's exactly what Maurice does with the rest of the night. It's just kind of like yelling stuff into the Valise.
The thing that you do notice is as you are kind of like yelling things into the Valise, it's not a response.
Maurice practices the proverbial shave and a haircut like response thing that they practice.
And I think as you have like that kind of like shave and a haircut, like you hear
and I think Maurice kind of clomps out of the room with the bag and is like, not sure if everything's okay in the bag.
Well, why? It should be.
And he sets it down and opens it up and is like, she knocked weird.
She knocked weird?
Kyrrie would do shave and a haircut so precisely. This was like stiff. I didn't like it. And hello, Kyrrie, say you're fine, and then we'll just keep going.
It's quite large in there. She could be in another room that I made.
Maurice flips on the testament. Hello, Kyrrie.
and it's a while, the delay. Any kind of response, it seems to kind of take a lot longer than you would expect it to. And then you hear, Oh, yes?
Are you still good? It's taking a long time to hear from you.
I'm fine.
Can I like insight this?
You may certainly do that.
How do you play game? So this would be...
Yeah, this would be whatever skill. So this would be interaction. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. All right, cool. I'll spend 2 on this. That's an 8.
With an 8, you can sense that you interrupted her doing something. And what you can kind of also tell is that there is something that she seems to have stirred out of something. With an 8, I will also tell you that it's not a tone you have heard from Kyrrie in quite some time. It seems almost like one of a little bit of anxiety attached to it.
Maurice kind of starts pacing. He's clearly deep in thought.
What do the rest of you do?
Are you suggesting we go in?
I think so. Or maybe, I mean, we all don't have to go in. I could go in, just make sure everything's okay. I just something feels off. Feels off.
I mean, I'll take the valise and we'll make sure everything's fine. As in, I'll carry it if you want to go down in there.
Okay with that? Duncan, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay up here?
Oh,
go in the bag.
I could hear the little shake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Duncan is looking at the vislae, or not the vislae, the valise, and is kind of... there's a kind of like, again, a slight whimper.
All right, you're staying out, and
I mean, I'll call down when we're through into the Golden Sun, and then we'll be good.
We already have our system because we thought of it ahead of time.
That's right.
All right, and Maurice kind of opens it and like he's about to get on a ladder to go down. All right, coming in.
Oh, enjoy the room I constructed. It's complicated. You'll see when you get down there.
Why does that feel so threatening?
I can't help how my voice sounds, Twig.
Look, I'm not saying your voice sounds threatening, but enjoy the room I made.
Then Maurice
closes it. He closes it from the inside.
All right.
Oh, we didn't think this one through. We're the only 2 left.
Mm-hmm.
We need to start wearing our get along shirt.
Yes, we need to start wearing our get along shirt. Yeah, I think Twig is in fine metal. They're feeling good. They're feeling really good.
Yeah, how's the heart?
Hearty.
Yeah, you don't look like you took like 50 punches directly to the face, which is an improvement.
I mean, I do get hit a lot, it feels like, but also I kind of felt like I got punched 50 times in the face. I don't think I realized how bad.
I imagine not having your heart in your chest has some negative impacts on your overall health. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
All right.
Internal organs, what do they do?
Who knows? We ready to travel through the suns?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I've never done this before.
I don't remember doing it, so...
Oh, as in, no, I'm making the thing. My mother is helping me with something she taught me, and it should open the pathway for us.
All right, not gonna lie, that's pretty cool.
It is kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
And also very urgent.
Yeah, we should go. Oh, okay. Twig's just doing like the phone wallet keys pat down.
Yep.
As you guys make this final preparation, we are going to cut to Maurice inside the Valise. Maurice, you are descending the stairs, and as you are making your way down, there are a number of changes that you have noticed about this place that make for a stark difference from where you had kind of originally investigated and what you had seen before. There are a lot of things that right off the bat, it feels like there's a better quality of light here. It's less like dull and like very kind of oppressing gloom. And you find you're kind of like way down there, and you realize that there is a room that, as you make your way through it, is in the vein of kind of like those barracks that you encountered, those tents that you encountered whilst in the war report, with their own kind of also additional kind of like wooden accoutrement and kind of decorations. There are you realize there's on one wall, very kind of like clearly demarcated, there is a Star of David, as well as a number of messages that you realize are written in Cyrillic, and in others they're written in Hebrew and Yiddish, and that you can kind of understand that there is you realize that this is a room in which Gabrielle has invested some part of herself. But as you kind of like make your way past this room, the paths diverge, and there are several passages leading out of this kind of like central meeting area. What are you doing as you're like looking for Kyrrie?
What would be a way that I could hone in on her location, or try to divine where the library would be located, just based on my context clues and surroundings?
I think as you're taking things in, you feel against your thigh, you bump into a dais on which there are a number of symbols. And one of which you can tell very clearly is a symbol of a pair of wings, akin to an angel's. On another, there is a book. And I have to ask, for each of you, Twigg and Maurice, which would be your symbols?
I think Maurice's would be a feather quill.
Okay. What about yours, Twigg?
I think just a leaf.
So you are looking at these four symbols, and it strikes you that the book is probably Kyrrie's. What do you do?
Maurice walks off in Kyrrie's direction. I think he is taking care not to startle her, not to interrupt any magic that she is doing, but also on his guard, also kind of speed walking a little bit. He is concerned.
As you are kind of like walking in the direction in which like the quadrant of this plinth would be pointing, you realize that the kind of like this central barracks, this kind of like tent structure, it has several pathways, yes, but as you're kind of like wandering in that area, you kind of, as you kind of continue moving, there is this moment where you think you see a form just moving quickly out of sight.
Kyrrie? Kyrrie, is that you?
are you approaching this form?
Have I split off yet into the book path, or am I still kind of in the central area?
I will say that you have split off into the, like, you're bordering there. And this form, it seems a little nondescript, a little fuzzy from a distance and dark. The quality of the light down this passageway is dimly lit.
I think Maurice decides to engage this creature. Hello? I saw you. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking to? My name's Maurice. I don't think you're Kyrrie. You're in a bag.
As you kind of like gesture hello, you see the form make the same gesture.
He takes a few steps forward and then to the side to see if it mirrors him.
It does.
Maurice, I think, uses the weave that he had practiced to make himself invisible and books it down the corridor towards Kyrrie.
As you begin booking it, like, you become invisible and that form disappears and dissipates. And as you are running forward, you realize that what you are staring at, that form, was a full-length mirror down a long passageway. And as you are running, the thing that you notice on left and on right sides there are multitudes of mirrors. But for whatever reason, as you are running down, the shimmers are bouncing off of them. Like, the light, it seems like it's trying to catch you. I need you to make me a movement roll. Your difficulty level is going to be 8. And tell me what you get.
All right, I'll burn a sortilege. And a bene.
Okay.
That is a 9 and a 3.
Okay. With that 9, you feel like something reach out and kind of try to grab at you, but you just narrowly evade as this kind of like misses you. At the same time, I think both of you on the outside, you hear Duncan barking wildly at the Valise, at which point you hear, no, Dad, no, as if kind of like very just in a panic. Maurice, as you are traveling down this hallway, you feel these things grasping at you, whatever they are. As you turn, you realize, and you turn around to face, like, I think probably just turn back to look over your shoulder. The passage has been blocked, and by what you realize is another full-length mirror, and you find yourself looking off into Kyrrie's kind of domain, her quarters that Gavriel has probably shaped. There's no way back. And this is where we're going to end tonight's session.
I'm sure it's fine.
Totally fine. Why wouldn't it be fine?
Yeah, I spent, I spent so much time debugging it, and now Kyrrie brought in the mirror virus.
And guys, thanks so much for joining us. We have just now completed the second half of episode 13, which means that, guess what? We got to do some character kind of recaps or summaries here. Starting with Gavriel.
Hi.
Joy.
Oh boy.
Despair. Acumen. Character arcs. What you got?
So I do think we've touched on my character arc. We have not finished it by any means, but my new arc is to form bonds with my people.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find the specific wording. Develop a bond. And it's become close to the following: Shia, Maduin, and the Arabast. So I definitely think that conversation touches on those issues for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to go for despair because Gav does not like being... Gav doesn't visualize life after a war, any war. It's all she's known. And the whole... she understands the concept of making those types of promises because it makes people feel good, but she's been a soldier for way too long to bother with the pretense of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Take 1 acumen for your extra step. Take 2 for speaking with the Sterling and also for having this kind of heart-to-heart with your parents. But also take 1 despair. Moving down the line. Maurice. Joy, despair, character arcs.
The trapped in an extra-dimensional space with a mirror virus just tips it into despair just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit?
Just a wee bit. I think the in addition to that, the stepping into his father's shoes, as it were, like trying on this piece of his past that fit really well, that he thought was a good move, that I think intuition was telling him that was not right at this time, and also kind of taking that step to reach out to his father that he is slowly realizing is perhaps not the best, what was not the best presence in his life, but still like making that step. It's not joy. It's like, it's the drudgery of emotional labor, I think. So that's a despair.
Absolutely. Take a despair. Did you think you satisfied any character arcs here?
Oh, I haven't done character arcs for a year.
All right.
My character arcs are back in Saturn waiting for me to teach them.
Oh, we're gonna have to get on that, but
yeah.
you're gonna have to survive this extra dimensional valise, this nightmare luggage. Okay. Finally, Twigg. Character arcs, joy, despair.
Sorry, I was trying to think of a good pun, and I'm getting nothing. Twigg is
that reflects poorly on you.
Only you could stab through the internet.
I mean, invisible sun, baby. Stabs, and I'm like, oh shit, there's my monitor. Fuck.
Twigg,
I
used Neospheric knife.
I would like to roll. I'm going to add my sortilege here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jam this blade of blades through the pixelation.
You cannot fall in love with a human woman. She does not have gills.
Oh my God. Okay. I shouldn't be the one getting us back on track. That's wrong. Twigg, I don't believe Twigg's touched on any character arcs fully. I don't think this didn't answer the question of where's my hearts, or who am I, or let's make a new home. I didn't actually that was unintentional, but so I don't think there's any progress on those. But overall, it's nice not to feel like you've just been punched in the face 50 times. It feels good. It feels great. In fact,
awesome.
Not dying rocks, y'all.
In which case, and I forgot to say this for Maurice, take 2 acumen as well. I think just for actually making that connection to your people. At the same time, Twigg, take 1 joy. And take 2 acumen as well for getting that artificial heart and getting back up into your step, it seems like. Okay, so let's do top of the round again, because now it's time for shout outs and plugs. Marcy, shout outs and plugs.
Sup, everybody? I'm going to do my usual bullshit, which is tell you about some other shows that are coming up for you here on Manapod Studios. No, not tomorrow, because I do know what day it is. It is Sunday, not Monday. Tuesday, starting this Tuesday, Flights of Fandom will be back. We were dark last week, but we're back with our May flight. It is going to be the concluding arc of our long-running Star Wars arc, Longshot, which, hey, if you haven't watched the first 2 seasons, they're on YouTube. Go check them out. And catch up, binge them, and then join us for part 3 on the 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll go from 8 to 11 as per usual, and we'll be doing that throughout the month of May. And then in June, we'll be doing Bioshock, a Bioshock themed flight that I am running, and I have never run a game before. It'll be great. Everything will be fine. So join us for that. We also have another new game coming up in June. That I believe it'll be the first Monday of the month, and then running every other Monday. We will be taking our popular flight that we've now resurrected 4 times. Our Escape from Arkham game is now going full-time as Streets of Gotham. Please join your favorite hench people as they continue to just fuck shit up. It's gonna be great. So that'll be starting, I believe it's June 6th is the date. If anything changes on that, well, there'll be some images and promos that I put up there, and we'll let you know about the actual date. And I believe that's all I've got for everybody right now.
Excellent. Bill, shout outs, plugs.
Shout out to my wonderful castmates, and Zach, as always, a pleasure to play at your table. I'd like to plug Martina Da Silva, who sings the original tune commissioned for this show that you hopefully hear before and after on the stream. You can find more information about Martina Da Silva's music at martinadasilvamusic.com. She currently has a residency at a Manhattan restaurant Sundays from 1 to 4. It's the Asset in on the Upper West Side, and she's got a Patreon. You should check that out. I'd like to plug Hopper's Twitch channel, the_legend_tree. If you're not following, please head over and give a follow. Would love to collect some people. We are streaming Gloomhaven, of which Zach and Hopper are joining me on that. That's a lot of fun. And stay tuned for a home game that is graduating to a stream coming soon to New Year. I can't wait to introduce. I don't think any of these other people have ever been on stream, have they, Hopper?
No, nobody else has ever been. No, Tyler's been on a stream,
a happy hour stream.
It was actually a one shot on Flights of Fandom.
Wonderful.
Tyler was one of the velociraptors in our Jurassic Park one shot.
A legend.
Velociraptors. That is
so. All right. So two things. One, this just goes to show that if you want to be part of the community that plays games on Flights of Fandom, it's real easy to do. Come over to the Discord, talk to Marcy. And second, in addition to Tyler, there are 2 other amazing improvisers and role players that are bringing just the most reprehensible characters alive, and I can't wait to share them with you.
Love it. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'm so excited to inflict these characters, the best people and the worst characters. This is a home friend game that I was just like, I need to learn how to produce and stream. All right, these people are awful. Let's put my worst foot forward into the world, as is my want. And I believe the title is final, correct?
I believe the title is Dark Visions. Not all monsters are from the manual.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. I'm still me, still Hopper. They, them pronouns. Resident Disaster. You can find me under most places under Fail Deadly. That's with a 3 instead of an E because I'm a bad person. And also, as Bill has so lovingly plugged, under the Legend Tree. On Twitch, that is with underscores. Most places, it's just the Legend Tree. But I have a website I need to update. Shit. outside of that, you know what? We're doing artist plugs. Shout out to Dave C. Wallen of Eight of Swords Tattoo in Brooklyn, New York, who did the artwork for our characters. It's good artwork. Like, it's really good. Yeah, check him out. He's on a bunch of social media. I think definitely Instagram. He's got some weird shit. Check it out if you like weird shit.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, Dave is awesome. Thank you so much again, Dave, for doing our character art. It's so good. Finally, for my part, I will go ahead and just shout out to Jeff Stormer and to Encounter Party, two of our favorite podcast groups. There's hopefully some really cool stuff coming from the Encounter Party crew soonish. I will leave it to Ned Donovan and I think Brian David Judkins to follow up on that stuff if you guys want to learn more. In addition, I think just shout out to Angel Citadel for The Soul's Direction, another fantastic Invisible Sun actual play that you guys should be checking out on every Sunday that is not our every other Sunday. So
every Sunday is Invisible Sunday.
Every Sunday is Invisible Sunday. Other than that, guys, I think we're just going to keep it real brief tonight. I just want to say thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're looking forward to the next episode to see if we can maybe fix up this extra-dimensional Valise. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Take care of the people that you love. Take care of everybody else that you encounter, because kindness is always welcome in this world. And in the meantime, may the invisible sun shine on you all. Have a great night, guys.
Be gay, do crime.
Be gay, do crime.